Well, we saw jobs lost in New South Wales in July, and that's capturing 3 weeks of the lockdown and also 5 weeks of the outbreak. And we saw some job losses in October in Queensland, but other states and territories actually recorded employment growth across the month. So that helped see a small rise in jobs in July of 2,200. Now, we did see a drop in the participation rate, so that means the size of the labour force shrunk, and you don't need quite as much jobs growth to prevent the unemployment rate from rising when you see that. Now, the early signs, Sue, are that the way businesses are responding is by reducing the hours worked of staff rather than retrenching staff. And in fact, hours worked gives us a really good picture of the total capacity in the labour market. And in New South Wales, hours worked dropped 7%, and across the country it dropped by 0.2% in the month.
So are you expecting the unemployment rate to rise next month, given the long lockdown in New South Wales and around the rest of the country?
We certainly are. We are looking for a disruption to jobs over the next few months. We are looking for job losses to accelerate in New South Wales, and also for the national unemployment rate, as well as the New South Wales unemployment rate, to move up towards the high fives over the next few months. I guess the good news is that heading into this outbreak, the New South Wales unemployment rate and the national unemployment rate is very low, and for the national rate, much lower than where it was when the pandemic hit our shores early last year. When the pandemic hit our shores early last year, nationally the unemployment rate was at 5.3%, and now you've got it at 4.6%. And really, if you didn't have this outbreak that began in Sydney, we would be looking for an even lower unemployment rate by the end of this year, and much lower than what the RBA has been expecting. But of course, the outbreak changes that picture.
Well, quickly staying on the Reserve Bank, will they start reducing their bond buying program, so reducing stimulus next month?
Well, I thought that they would hold off on tapering or reducing their bond buying program. But when they met last time, they stuck to their guns and said that they would continue with their plan of tapering the bond buying program in early September. I was surprised by that decision, but the Reserve Bank, in their statement, really, I guess the language that they used suggested that they're looking through this near-term disruption to economic activity in New South Wales and nationally. It is a very evolving situation. And I would say that the impact on economic activity is worse than what the RBA anticipated when they last met. And I wouldn't rule out, I guess, them deciding to hold off. But, the message that they've sent so far is they'll stick to their guns.